Here we are, boys and girls. It's dawn, City of Toronto, the very first POV drive. Who needs caffeine in the morning when you have 8,000 RPM? This thing is like a bat out of hell on the highway. What a machine. Say goodbye to the beautiful view. Speed camera in use. Let's talk about how this car feels to drive. So right off the bat, I just want to say there's a ton of rattling going on over here. Clearly I still have some trim pieces missing. This thing is rattly. A bunch of stuff needs to be done on this interior, but I couldn't wait to talk to you guys and tell you how this car feels and take you on a nice POV morning drive. Look at this view. Gorgeous. And next to no traffic for a change in the city of Toronto. More importantly, what's the car like? I'm gonna start with the steering. So this is the last hydraulic steering, although it is electrically assisted hydraulic steering. It's not like an E46. It is speed dependent, which I know some people might think is blasphemy. But my God, is it precise, and it is quick. When you get up there in speed, the ratio on the steering rack is unbelievably quick. It's perfect. So the steering on the car, 10 out of 10. Truly, maybe not as much feel as an E46, but the speed and the precision is there. It is sublime. Maybe it's not a 10 out of 10, okay, because of the feel, I'd give it an 8 or a 9. Second thing I want to talk about is handling and suspension. I'm driving on used stock suspension, stock springs, stock shocks. And the ride is relatively compliant. I'm a little bit surprised because I was expecting an M3 to ride worse. But this is actually relatively compliant. And at highway speeds, bulletproof, rock solid. I mean, there's us at a 180, no problem. Take this corner at high speeds. Zero concerns. Rock solid. How about this highway? The Don Valley Parkway, ladies and gentlemen. Canada's taxpayers' racetrack. Next, let's talk about the engine. Of course, probably the masterpiece of this car, as everybody who's ever driven one or reviewed one will tell you. It is so intoxicating to rev. Have a listen. Eight and a half thousand RPM for days. For days this thing will go. And what's amazing about this engine, especially on the highway like this, is the more you climb in revs, the harder it accelerates. And the only sort of parallel I can describe it to is those superbike engines that just make exponentially more power as you get into the upper rev ranges, aka VTEC for the JDM boys and girls. The engine is a masterpiece, nothing short of a masterpiece. And here it is sitting at just shy of 300,000 kilometers. Obviously, I've done extensive maintenance and preventative work on this engine. Have a look at the link up there if you want to check out some of my previous videos. So it's not like I've sat in this car and just sent it on zero maintenance. They are a high maintenance engine. They're a race engine basically for the road. However, it pays back in dividends. Now, it's not the fastest car in the world. Yes, it says 330 on the speedo, but from an acceleration standpoint, it just doesn't have a ton of torque. It doesn't give you that shove in the back of your pants, in the back of your seat feeling. I mean, here we are at 3,500, 4,000. It pulls, but it's not a turbocharged feeling. It's not a turbocharged engine. It's not a large displacement V8 like you'd get in a C63. This is much more linear, much more progressive, much sharper. And I would akin this car to a scalpel versus a machete or a sledgehammer like an Audi or a Mercedes-Benz would be described. But passing power, it is not lacking, let me tell you. Next, I want to talk about the mechanical condition of this specific car. Okay, so the interior bits and pieces, we got some trim meat missing, there's some rattling going on. I'll be fixing that in a future episode. Mechanically speaking though, brakes are good, feel a little spongy. Steering wheel is tight. I did the tie rods, both inner and outer. Like I said, I've replaced the stock suspension. However, the bushings on the car are quite old, I can tell. None of them are ripped, none of them are leaking, but you know, when you're pushing the car, when you're going over bumps, it's a little crashy, it's a little wallowy. It could use all new bushings on the suspension, and frankly, it could use subframe bushings in the back as well, just to tighten up that rear end. So if you're in the market for a high mileage E90, E92, E93 M3, don't kid yourself. There's going to be a lot of extra maintenance beyond the engine usuals that everybody talks about that needs to be addressed on this car if you want it to drive properly, if you want it to be, you know, an enjoyable experience, a driver's experience, if you will. See how like crashy and loud it is over bumps? Heading into the sunshine, can't see a thing. So I apologize, this video has been a long time coming and overdue, but what's next on this car? Like I said, I want to do a full interior rejuvenation, seats out, detailing, the whole shebang. As far as a daily driver's enthusiast's car, this to me is close to perfection, honestly. It has enough power, but not enough that it's scary or not usable day to day. It's refined, it's civilized, even in non-EDC form, the suspension is compliant. It's not that bad on your back. You could drive this all day long, no problem. But let me know what you guys thought of this drive. Let me know what you thought of the POV view. In the meantime, I'm going to leave you with one of the most beautiful views in the city of the downtown water filtration plant by the beaches. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.